Zendro official YouTube page.
Anticipated, and we continue to push further than many had anticipated, and we continue to push further with renewed vigor and enthusiasm. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am quite pleased as we unveil to you Ethiopia's homegrown economic reform agenda, a well-coordinated response and blueprint to propel economic progress. The homegrown economic reform agenda is close to my heart, and I believe it is our bridge to prosperity, enabling us to become a middle-income nation and ensure sustainable development. This agenda, crafted through a process of taking stock of our success and in-depth review of key bottlenecks and design of adequate remedies, outlines macroeconomic, structural, and sectoral reforms that will pave the path for jobs and inclusive growth. To ensure our homegrown economic reform agenda is successful, we are tightening our fiscal belts, strengthening our public sector finance, shedding our debts, and increasing domestic resource mobilization. We work towards ensuring financial discipline and sound economic management. To deliver on one of our Madamar aspiration of prosperity, we have prioritized the success of key sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, mining, tourism, and information and communications technology. Anchored in the vision of building a prosperous nation, our priority is to create an economic environment that closes the income inequality gap by creating opportunities and access to resources for all. We also prioritize capacity building to ensure we are truly investing in our people, our youth, scaling up their skills to meet investors' workforce needs, ensuring we produce globally competitive graduates, invest in their health and well-being, and develop their capacity to take an idea and turn it into a business. In rolling out Ethiopia's homegrown economic reform agenda, it does not mean we work alone. We know that we can unlock Ethiopia's untapped potential by working together with our neighbors, development partners, and stakeholders in the spirit of Madamar. We have also worked tirelessly to open regional relations previously closed and have been lending support and stabilizing neighboring nations by brokering peace. Our active engagement in the continental integration process is demonstrated through our pioneering role adopting the African Continental Free Trade Area. We realize that our interdependence suffices Ethiopia's geopolitical importance in becoming Africa's gateway to global market. As with any transition, we understand that risks and opportunities exist. We know we are all responsible for our actions and actions. As such, today I am standing in front of you to tell you that my administration is working tirelessly to make the Ethiopian economy work better for all people and ensure return on investment to our stakeholders. And I also stand here inviting you to support us in crafting the Ethiopian economic miracle. The homegrown economic reform agenda is our pro-job, pro-growth, and pro-inclusivity pathway to prosperity. Join us on this path. መልካም አዲስ ዓመት። Thank you very much.
Pension contributions have been channeled into public investment. And as you can see, credit by sector on your right side, the public investment and investment into private sectors has been increasing significantly over the years. And how do you manage to do this? Mainly by making focused policy intervention, which is described as financial repression. But that domestic mobilization is not enough. There is also significant mobilization of grants and external resources of debts as well. The one is loan disbursement, and the one on the top, the gray one, is grants. On average, our development partners are very much aware of this. About 8% of GDP on average has been mobilized from external resources. So I'd like to take a pause here and thank our development partners for your continued support of this economic growth in part of our economic success. I'm sure you will continue to play a very important role in the years to come. Now, as I said, as part of that financial repression, real interest rate has been kept negative for many parts of the year. You can see that the chart above, real interest rate has been negative from 2004 to 2019 all along. There are ups and downs. By and large, we've kept it negative. And also, the real exchange rate has been appreciated, making imports significantly cheaper. But this had a cost, as you see on your right side, the parallel official exchange rate spread has been growing and building up over the years. I'll describe what kind of challenges is posed in this few slides. Moving on, before I describe the economic reform agenda, it would be useful to again highlight some of the remaining development outcome gaps and the specific challenge that the economy faced that has sort of hampered Ethiopia from realizing its full potential. In terms of economic gaps, I'll be very selective. What I'll try to do here is give you some data points by comparing Ethiopia's success and what it needs to do for Ethiopia to become mid-income economy in the years ahead. It's very important to remind you, though, that the average lower middle-income countries data is what I'm using here. It's not the threshold. As the Prime Minister has said earlier on, the government really wants to move the needle, to push the target a little bit further, to move the goalpost so that we can aspire a little bit higher. So in that regard, we really don't want to set for the minimum threshold, but for the average for lower middle income countries. So you see here in terms of government, we're always there.
First of all, we want to thank as ECA, the government of Ethiopia for agreeing to this and suggesting to do this with us, ECA. I think what we have seen today is the economic homegrown program for Ethiopia, which has a very large ambition. And Eyob, you have used the word ambition a lot. The scale of the ambition is high. What we're going to do is go through a few presentations, and I will want to remember 3 numbers by the time we're done today. But let's start with the scale of the ambition. I think Ethiopia says that they want to grow from 8 GDP per capita. At the end of the day, it is all the people. That is why we care about GDP per capita. GDP per capita today is 865. They want to get to 2,219. That has been done before. Next slide. So what we decided to do was just take a look at countries, see what they've done before, and that Ethiopia can actually meet that target. There are a couple of countries that have done that, China, Laos, and Vietnam. And I think we wanted to put together, and as I think the Prime Minister said, and Eyob also said, part of why we're here is to do the international comparisons to show you what's happening across the world. China, of course, was able to double GDP per capita in a 10-year period. So a little bit the same time frame that you're looking at. But more importantly, I think we're also able to contain inequality. And we want to look at that, which is why we have put the Gini coefficient, the number that you should be looking at. Vietnam, which is a country that carrying well, is also a country that has been able to offset double GDP per capita, but while actually reducing inequality. So again, there is a best practice there that we can look at. And I think that an example for Ethiopia could be something that is quite interesting, because particularly when we start looking at structural reforms and what has happened. Laos, of course, is the same. And in some areas and in some sectors, I think there is quite a lot of comparison between Laos and Ethiopia. One looked, GDP per capita went from 700 to 1300, so almost doubling. So we see that this is possible, and we can do that. Next slide. So again, the scale of the ambition is doable. I think we start with that, and we say that this is not too ambitious, actually. It is something that has been done before. What does Ethiopia need to do? This is the second number that I want you to remember, and this was your closing slide. You almost need to do $6 billion of new investment annually. And that means, and you did a lot, you are now at 34% GDP, investments to GDP. Many other countries have done that. China has been investing during its growth periods almost 40%. Mauritania, which has been growing quite fast as well. We wanted to look at a few African countries. There's one African country that has doubled GDP per capita. It was Equatorial Guinea, I think. We decided not to use it because it's a very specific type of economy, but there is one African country that has done that.